The handouts or review materials must be treated with utmost confidentiality. It shall be the responsibility of the person whose name appears therein that the handouts or review materials are not photocopied or in any way reproduced, shared, or lent to any person or disposed in any manner. Any handouts or review materials found in the possession of another person whose name does not appear therein shall be prima facie evidence of violation of RA 8293. Top-notch review materials are updated every 6 months based on the current trends and feedback. Please buy all recommended review books and other materials.
Okay, let's go now to the thyroids and the parathyroids. Okay, the thyroid lies posterior to the strap muscles. It weighs roughly 20 grams. The lobes are connected by the isthmus. 50% of the population would have a pyramidal lobe covered by the loose investing fascia or the false capsule. The pretracheal fascia attaches the gland to the cricoid cartilage. We call that the ligament of Berry. And from the pretracheal fascia, we have the true fibrous capsule. It's tightly adherent to the thyroid parenchyma. The arterial supply will come from the superior thyroid artery, the inferior thyroid artery, okay, and some would have a thyroidea ima artery in 1 to 4% of the population coming from either the brachiocephalic artery or the arch of the aorta. While the venous drainage, the superior and medial thyroid veins will drain toward the internal jugular vein, while the inferior thyroid vein drains toward the brachiocephalic vein. For the lymphatic drainage, just remember the first echelon or the first receptacle of lymphatic fluid. For the thyroid gland, it goes to the central compartment of the neck or level 6. Okay, for the nerves, there are two important nerves to identify and preserve. Now, first is the recurrent laryngeal nerves, a branch of vagus. It has two branches, no, the left and the right. The left recurrent laryngeal nerve crosses the arch of the aorta, loops around the ligamentum arteriosum, and then ascends at the tracheoesophageal groove before it supplies the larynx. While the right crosses and loops around the subclavian artery, it runs a more oblique course than the left, and it can be non-recurrent in 0.5 to 1% of the population. Both of these nerves are highly vulnerable to injury at the ligament of Berry. Okay, so during the dissection near the ligament of Berry, one must be extra careful because that's where it's very near the recurrent laryngeal nerves. Okay, so an intraoperative landmark we make use of to identify the nerve is the Simon's triangle, no, bounded by the trachea in front, the esophagus and carotid behind. The base of the triangle is the inferior thyroid artery, while the apex is pointing towards the thoracic inlet. Okay, base is the inferior thyroid artery, trachea in front, esophagus and carotid behind, and then the apex is pointing towards the thoracic inlet. The recurrent laryngeal nerve will be seen inside, no, the triangle of the Simon's triangle. So why is it very important to identify and preserve? Merong general rule sa gross anatomy, di ba? Yung all muscles of the larynx are supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerves except the cricothyroid, because the cricothyroid is supplied by the external branch superior laryngeal nerve. Okay. So yung majority ng muscles, no, yung intrinsic muscles ng larynx, is a recurrent laryngeal nerve ang innervation, no, ang nerve supply, such that injury to one recurrent leads to paralysis of the ipsilateral cord, no, and that vocal cord may assume either a paramedian or an abducted position, resulting to a normal weak voice or a hoarse voice with ineffective cough respectively. Although non-life-threatening, okay, morbidity pa din yan. Okay? Ang worst, there is bilateral injuries, no, to both recurrence, and that could lead to airway compromise or loss of voice necessitating emergency tracheostomy. No, imagine, no, both vocal cords assuming a paramedian position. That leads to immediate airway obstruction. Okay? So, paano mo iti-treat yan? Kahit lagyan mo ng i-reintubate mo yan, hindi naman yan pwedeng naka-reintubate ng matagal, ano? So, kailangan mo mag-create ng formal tracheostomy. Okay, so ang lesson dito sa mga later on magja-general surgery or mag-ENT, Okay? In a thyroidectomy, never, okay, proceed with a thyroidectomy without having identified the recurrent laryngeal nerves. Okay? They must be preserved. Okay? Kung may mai-injure ka man dyan, make sure isang side lang. Never bilateral. Ano pa? Yung timing ng diagnosis kasi nito, okay? Kailan mo ba malalamang may airway obstruction? Eh di syempre pagka na-extubate na yung pasyente. Okay? Common practice ito, no? Hindi mo mababasa to sa libro. Pagkatapos ng surgeon alisin yung specimen niya, no? Yung thyroid in this case, anong gagawin yan? Mag-unscrub na yan tapos ipapaklose sa residente o kaya sa intern o kaya sa clerk, no? Yung wound nang naka-intubate pa, tas aalis na yung surgeon. Kailan nadadiagnose ang bilateral recurrent laryngeal nerve injury? Pag nag-extubate na yung anesthesiologist, di ba? So, dapat, kung ikaw yung primary surgeon, intayin mo muna, no, na magising yung pasyente, makausap mo to make sure wala ka nitong mga injuries na ito. Okay? The next nerve of importance to identify and preserve is the superior laryngeal nerve. No? May dalawang branches yan. No? Internal is sensory to the supraglottic larynx. The injury is rare because it's outside, no, or beyond the operative field, though it can still be injured. Okay? And that leads to risk of aspiration. Bakit? Kasi nawawala ang sensation dun sa region na yon, no, ng larynx. Importante kasi na may pakiramdam dyan para alam mo pag nachuchoke ka or nag-aspirate ka. The other branch is the motor branch, no, to the cricothyroid. Ito yung exception kanina sa general rule ng gross anatomy, di ba? Si cricothyroid is the lone tensor of the cord. At ito ang kanyang innervation. Okay? It descends alongside the superior thyroid vessels. So, sino yun? Superior thyroid artery at saka superior thyroid vein. So, kung ikaw yung surgeon, before ligating, no, the superior thyroid artery and vein, dapat nakita mo yung external branch ng superior laryngeal nerve. Kasi baka mamaya, ito ang maligate mo. Okay? Ano magiging result nun? Okay? Injury results to inability tensing the cord. Hence, difficulty hitting high notes and voice fatigue. Okay? So, hindi man life-threatening yan, career-threatening yan, no? Doon sa mga, ang profession, nagre-rely sa voice. For example, kami, mga teachers. Sino pa? Yung mga radio announcers, o kaya yung mga professional singers. Okay? Like what happened to a famous soprano in the past that carries, no, the eponym, no, for this nerve injury, no? Si Amelita Gala-Kersey. Amelita Gala-Kersey was a soprano, no, in the, I think, early 1900s. Okay? Nagkaroon siya ng thyroidectomy, okay, performed by Dr. Kegel, no, the famous Dr. Kegel of Kegel's exercise. Okay? Sa perineum ang expertise nun, nag-thyroidectomy, no. So, na-injure niya ito, no, yung external branch ng superior laryngeal nerve ni Amelita Gala-Kersey. So, from soprano, nawala na siya ng singing career, no? Kasi hindi na siya soprano after. Okay? Kaya, yun ngayon, ang pangalan ng nerve na ito, no? Gala-Kersey nerve or your external branch superior laryngeal nerve. For evaluating thyroid function, okay, so we have all these tests, no? We will discuss them as we go through the slides. We discuss first imaging. For imaging or radionuclide imaging, we make use of iodine 123 and the other variant iodine 131. No? We take advantage of knowing that the thyroid follicles, okay, yung characteristic cell ng thyroid gland, okay, is able to uptake, concentrate iodine. Okay? So, basta't may follicular cells ng thyroid, okay, gagawin niya yung physiologic function na ito, no? Mag-uptake ng iodine. Okay? So, if the intention is just to image the gland, no, including lingual, ectopic, and even metastatic, we make use of the low-dose variant, no, yung iodine 123, with this half-life, 12 to 14 hours. Compared when the intention is to screen and treat differentiated thyroid cancers like papillary and follicular, we make use of iodine 131, no, the higher radiation variant with a half-life of 8 to 10 days. Okay? i-qualify lang natin, no, yung term na differentiated only includes papillary and follicular. Okay? Ang mga malignancies merong degree of differentiation, no, na tinatawag, no. Merong well differentiated, moderately differentiated, poorly differentiated at saka undifferentiated. So pag sinabi mong differentiated for the thyroid, ito yung mga malignancies that bears close mimic, no, to the normal gland. Ano yun? Meron siyang thyroid follicular cells. So kung may thyroid follicular cells, si papillary and follicular, sila lang din yung histotypes na pwedeng mag-uptake, trap at concentrate ng iodine. Do not expect, for example, anaplastic thyroid carcinoma, which is an undifferentiated tumor, meaning it lacks follicular cells, to trap and concentrate iodine kasi wala nga siyang follicular cell. Okay? Ganun din si medullary thyroid carcinoma. Okay? So, hindi pwede sa kanila yung iodine 123 for imaging at saka si 131 for treatment. Okay? So, dalawa lang yun, ano? Yung well-differentiated, papillary and follicular. Aside from that, okay, imaging both provide anatomic and physiologic information, no? Kasi yung thyroid gland, hindi lahat nagko-concentrate ng iodine. Okay? Yung area na ito na tinuturo ng scintigraphic or ng scintigraphic plate na kulay puti, walang concentration yun, no? Ang tawag natin doon, cold lesion, no? Cold, parang yellow, kulay puti. Okay? They trap less iodine than the surrounding gland. So yung black, yun yung nag-uptake concentrate. Ibig sabihin, normal ang thyroid tissue doon. Okay? The problem with cold lesions is that they are associated with 20% risk of malignancy. So, ang kasunod niyan, kung may ganito yung pasyente, fine needle aspiration biopsy of the cold lesion, no, to rule out malignancy. On the other hand, kung hot and warm lesion, edi syempre puro itim naman, no, ang makikita mo dito. Okay? Hot and warm lesion, they appear dark in the scintiplate, no? They represent areas of hyperactivity, concentration. They are associated with less than 5% risk of malignancy. Hence, hindi na binabiopsy itong tatlong ito, no? Ito yung tatlong hyperthyroid disorders, no, i-discuss natin. Graves' disease, kikita mo, no, diffuse distribution, no, of iodine in the entire thyroid gland. While sa toxic adenoma, there is a single focus of hyperactivity. And yung last, yung toxic multinodular goiter, or sometimes referred to as plumber's disease, there are multiple foci of hyperactivity with a background of hypoactivity, no, sa thyroid gland. So just by using thyroid imaging, you can actually diagnose, differentiate these three. No need to perform biopsy. Hindi natin binabiopsy itong tatlo. Bakit, no? Bakit? Kasi less than 5% lang ang chance ng malignancy dyan. Okay. Next is PET scan or positron emission tomograph. No? Although not widely available, very useful ito, no, when other imaging studies are negative. Like yung example natin kanina, no? Kung anaplastic yung carcinoma, wala namang thyroid follicle yun, hindi talaga mag-a-uptake at concentrate ng iodine 123 yun. Okay? But we make use of the advantage of knowing a malignancy or a cancer cell still utilizes glucose as a source of their fuel. No? Ang ginagamit kasing isotope ng PET scan 18-FDG, no? Yung fluorodeoxyglucose. Okay? Hindi naman alam nung cancer cell na modified yung glucose na yon, no? So ang gagawin niya, papasok pa rin ng cancer cell yon, no, ready for glycolysis. Only to find out, hindi pala niya makakatabolize further, no, kasi modified nga, no, merong fluorodeoxy moiety sa 18th position. So, ginagamit na lang natin siyang pang-localize, no. Saan ba nagla-light up, no, yung F18-FDG? It tells you na nandoon yung cancer cell, no. Kung nasa neck, nasa region ng thyroid, baka si anaplastic yon. What about ultrasound? No? Evaluation of thyroid nodules, cervical lymph nodes, it also guides us in doing FNA. While CT and MRI are most useful in evaluating large fixed substernal goiters. No? The term substernal or intrathoracic goiters connotes, okay, a condition wherein more than 50% of the thyroid gland is located inside the chest or intrathoracically. Okay, may mga ganun kasing cases, no? Yung mga thyroid gland wherein more than 50% nung mismong gland ay located, no, inside the thoracic inlet. Ang tawag natin doon substernal goiters or intrathoracic goiters. O bakit importante yun? Kasi we know intrathoracic goiters are more prone to develop malignancy than the usual thyroid gland. Okay, let's discuss the first hyperthyroid disorder, no, yung Graves' disease. Look at this picture, no, para meron kang memory, no, ng ano ba ang Graves. It is an autoimmune disorder with strong familial predisposition and a female preponderance. No? As a whole, no, thyroid disorders are more common among females. Peak age of involvement, 40 to 60 years of age, with thyrotoxicosis, diffuse goiter, and extrathyroidal manifestations like ophthalmopathy and dermopathy. The key word to remember in Graves is the word diffuse. Okay? Diffuse applies only to Graves, okay, for the hyperthyroid disorders we are to discuss. Etiology is unknown, though we know they are commonly occurring in these haplotypes, no? HLA-BA, B8, DR3, DQA1. With the patient with heat intolerance, weight loss, diarrhea, palpitation, amenorrhea, atrial fibrillation, ophthalmopathy, and dermopathy. And by PE, again, you take note of a diffusely enlarged thyroid gland. Dapat yung whole thyroid gland malaki. And wala dapat nodulations. No? Kasi pag may nodule, baka si solitary toxic nodule yun. Or kung may nodules, baka si Plummer's disease yun. So, paano siya dinadiagnose? Okay? Just by looking at a suppressed TSH, okay? Kasi 'di ba alam niya naman natin sa physiology, inverse ang relationship ng TSH at saka ng T4, T3, no? Kung mataas yung T4, T3, dapat mababa yung TSH. Okay, so with a suppressed TSH, even without an elevated free T4, free T3, no other test is necessary kung meron ng ophthalmopathy yung pasyente, no? You're almost sure na Graves yun. Okay? Take note, no? Walang biopsy dyan kasi less than 5% lang ang chance ng malignancy. Dun sa mga walang eye signs, sinasubject sa iodine 1, 2, 3 uptake and scan. And ano nga yung keyword? Kailangan diffuse yung distribution. Okay, so review yung mga eye signs ng Graves, no? Marami rin yan, no? Like lead lag, bone grape sign, Dalrymple sign, Boston sign, Joffroy sign, 'di ba? Nandun yan sa De Gowins, no? Diagnostic book natin, ano, nung second year medicine. Let's go to the treatment. Ang definitive treatment ng Graves dalawa lang, no? It can be either radioactive iodine ablation or surgery. Yung anti-thyroid drugs, ginagamit lang natin siya, no, to prepare the patient or to render the patient euthyroid prior to either an ablation or a surgical treatment. Okay? So hindi siya definitive, okay? But rather ginagamit siya to make the patient ready prior to ablation or surgery. Okay, so we have either propylthiouracil or metimazoles and the other azoles like carbimazole, tapazole. Okay. They both inhibit organific binding of iodine and coupling of iodotyrosines. Propylthiouracil also inhibits the peripheral conversion of T4 to T3, no, yung last step, okay, ng thyroid hormone synthesis. Both may cross the placenta and excreted in the breast milk but less for PTU. And then metimazoles has been associated with congenital aplasia. You will see, no, the main drawback of anti-thyroid drugs are its side effects. No? All of these are reversible except aplastic anemia. Okay? And in patients developing agranulocytosis, this is the consequence. Okay? They needed to be admitted to the hospital. We need to stop the medication, start them on broad-spectrum antibiotics, and that would delay the rendering of the definitive treatment. Okay? So, yun ang disadvantage ng anti-thyroid drugs. Meaning, hindi mo siya pwedeng gamitin ng matagal. Okay? It is associated with a high relapse rate. Okay? It improves the patient's toxicity in 2 weeks, makes them euthyroid in 6 weeks. So their indications are limited to those with small goiters, mildly elevated thyroid hormones, or those with rapid decrease in gland size. Okay? Again, it is not considered a definitive treatment. So once the patient is euthyroid, we decide, okay, saan ba natin isasubject ang pasyente, no? Saan natin siya ire-refer? Doon ba sa nuclear medicine doctor para sa RAI therapy o doon sa yung general surgeon, head and neck surgeon or yung ENT mo for surgery? Okay? So dapat alam natin kailan ba better treated ng RAI, kailan din ng surgery ang pasyenteng may Graves. Okay. Advantages. Of course, it will avoid the patient surgery. It is associated with the reduced overall treatment cost, and there is ease of treatment, no? Kasi ang bigay nito via the oral route with a range of 8 to 12 millicurie only, no? So para lang siyang naka-vitamins. Okay? Sinuswallow yung pill or yung tabular form. And then it makes the patient euthyroid in 2 months. Okay? But marami ring drawback kasi ang RAI. Okay? There is progression of ophthalmopathy. Okay? So hindi mo siya pwedeng gamitin sa Graves na meron ng ophthalmopathy. There is risk of nodular goiter, thyroid cancer, and hyperparathyroidism. There is also an unexplained increased rate of overall and cardiovascular mortality. Okay? So after weighing all those, okay, kung ikaw yung general physician or primary attending ng pasyenteng may Graves, ikaw magde-decide, no? I-refer mo ba to for RAI or surgery? Okay, so in the review, ever since, nung lagi kong sinasabi ito, no? If you're given a patient with Graves who is an elderly male, no? Matanda, lalaki, eto na ang definitive treatment mo dapat, no? Radioactive iodine therapy. But bear in mind that the usual patient with Graves is a young patient and is a female. So pag ang pasyente mo yung usual Graves patient, dapat ang definitive treatment mo dyan, surgery. Okay? Kaya yun lang din ang absolute contraindication ng RAI, no? Yung mga pregnant women, o kaya desirous of becoming pregnant, or currently breastfeeding, no? Kasi nagpupunta rin sa breast milk, no? Yung radioactive iodine. O imagine, no? Magiging hypothyroid yung baby dahil na na nakuha niya yung RAI, no, na binigay doon sa kanyang mom. Okay? Yun ang problema sa radioactive iodine, no? Although it makes you euthyroid in 2 months, it has the potential to make you hypothyroid for life. Okay? Kasi yung emission ng radiation ng 131 can outlast the patient's lifetime. Ibig sabihin, patay ka na, nag-i-emit pa ng radiation yung 131 sa sementeryo, no? Hindi siya titigil hanggat merong nag-a-uptake na follicular cell. Susunugin niya lahat 'yon, no? Kaya nga ablation, no, ang tawag diyan. Okay? So hindi ka na hyperthyroid, pero gagawin ka niyang hypothyroid. Okay. What about surgery? Look at the indications, no? Confirmed cancer or suspicious, young, pregnant, desirous to conceive, okay? There are severe reactions to the anti-thyroid medication, large goiters with compressive symptoms, those reluctant to undergo RAI, those with moderate to severe ophthalmopathy, no? Kasi nga, sabi na kanina, ang RAI nakaka-aggravate, no, ng ophthalmopathy. So in summary, elderly male, RAI. All the rest, surgery. Okay. Before that, okay, the patient must be in a euthyroid state. Okay? Kasi you are preventing a catastrophic complication, no? We call thyroid storm. Okay? So, paano ginagawa yan? You give the patient Lugol's iodine solution and potassium iodide saturated solution or KISS. Okay? Di mo hahalikan yung pasyente, no? Potassium iodide saturated solution. Eto, tinatanong to, no? Yung period of time. Kailan to bibigay? 7 to 10 days pre-op to decrease vascularity of the thyroid and to lessen risk of thyroid storm. So, 7 to 10 days. ng elective thyroidectomy mo, dapat yung pasyente nakaganito na. Okay? Para pag-cut mo, okay, or during the operation, hindi mo ma-experience itong thyroid storm. Okay? Now, anong klaseng surgery? Okay? So, meron kang tatlong options actually, no? Dalawa belonging to subtotal and total or near total thyroidectomy. Okay, so define natin. Pag sinabing subtotal thyroidectomy, ito ang strict definition yan. Intentionally, you are leaving 4 to 7 grams of thyroid tissue behind. 4 to 7 grams of thyroid tissue behind. And then, paano mo gustong iwanan yung 4 to 7 grams na yon? On both sides, right and left, o sa isang side lang in a Hartley-Dunhill procedure. In a Hartley-Dunhill procedure, you are performing a lobectomy and isthmusectomy on one side and a subtotal on the remaining side, so long as may 4 to 7 grams ka of normal tissue left behind. Okay? So either nasa right or nasa left. Pero yung bilateral subtotal, meron sa right, meron din sa left. Okay? So ito munang dalawa. Between the two, we prefer a Hartley-Dunhill procedure. Okay? Yung ibig sabihin, yung 4 to 7 grams remaining or remnant, nasa isang side lang ng neck. Bakit mas preferred ito? In cases of recurrence and you need to reoperate the patient, okay, the surgeon will only have to explore one side of the neck instead of two. And that will what? That will lessen the chance of injuring the recurrent laryngeal nerves and the 4 parathyroid glands in a reoperation. So yun yung advantage ng Hartley-Dunhill. Okay? Isang side lang yung idadissect mo compared sa dalawa kung bilateral, subtotal. Ano naman yung total at saka near total thyroidectomy? Okay, so dito kayo wag mako-confuse. Kasi total or near total thyroidectomy is one and the same. Parehas yan. Okay? The intention of the surgeon is to perform a total, complete extirpation, no, ng gland. But what happens in reality is just a near total. Bakit? Kasi meron at merong naiiwan na thyroid tissue sa neck. Yun yung area ng thyroid near the recurrent laryngeal nerves and the 4 parathyroid glands. Kasi pine-preserve mo yung parathyroids, pine-preserve mo yung recurrent laryngeal nerves, merong part ng thyroid gland na naiiwan. Okay? So kaya sinabi kong total man ang intention mo, in reality, near total lang ang ginawa mo. Okay? So kailan pinipili yan? Okay? So coexistent thyroid cancer, those who refuse RAI, ophthalmopathy, may compressive symptoms, severe reactions to anti-thyroid drugs. Okay? So, kung isa lang ang kailangan mong isagot, ito ang sagot. Total or near total thyroidectomy. Okay? So, yun yung mga definition ng subtotal, total / near total. Okay? Next, hyperthyroid disorder is the toxic multinodular goiter or Plummer's disease. You have an older individual, prior history of non-toxic multinodular goiter, signs and symptoms similar to Graves, but anong difference? Extrathyroidal manifestations are absent. So, ang diagnosis mo, suppressed din yung TSH, with or without elevated free T4, free T3. Sa RAI uptake, you have multiple foci of hyperactivity with suppression of the remaining of the gland. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, hindi mo siya madi-differentiate by laboratory alone. Kailangan mo ng PE ng neck at saka ng iodine imaging or thyroid imaging. Okay? Ano treatment? Parehas lang ng Graves, no? Total / near total. Yung last ay si solitary toxic nodule. This time you have a younger patient with long-standing nodule, symptoms of hyperthyroidism, laboratory-wise, the same. Saan sila mag-iiba? Sa radioactive iodine uptake. Kasi ito solitary. So, dapat ang makita mo dyan, isang hot nodule lang. Okay? At since isa lang yan, either nasa left or nasa right lobe, pwede siyang i-treat ng unilateral lobectomy and isthmusectomy. Okay? Ito yung complication, no, na we are trying to avoid. Hence, you need to give the patient Lugol's iodine at saka KISS, no, for 7 to 10 days pre-op. Thyroid storm is nothing but an exaggerated hyperthyroidism state, okay, associated with a high mortality. Okay, so once it happens, especially during the operation, the surgeon must stop the surgery and give all this. Okay, beta blockers, oxygen supplementation, PTU, Lugol's iodine, Ipodate, steroids, and to combat the hyperpyrexia, take note, no? It should be non-aspirin compounds. Ibig sabihin, aspirin-containing drugs, okay, are contraindicated in patients with thyroid storm. Okay, because aspirin is said to release further, no, T3, T4 from its protein-bound state, lalong lalala. Okay, so remember that, no, yung non-aspirin for the increased temperature. So that's the hyperthyroid disorders. Let's go to the inflammatory group. Okay, yung mga itis. We have acute suppurative thyroiditis. It's common among children. It is often preceded by an upper respiratory tract infection, accompanied by severe neck pain, fever, and chills. Okay, if one performs an FNA of that thyroid, you will see leukocytic infiltration. So, treatment ay parenteral antibiotics, drainage of abscess if there is any, and then suspect a persistent piriform sinus fistula in children with recurrent acute thyroiditis. Next variant is subacute thyroiditis. Dalawa yan, may painful at saka painless variant. Subacute thyroiditis of the painful type is of viral in origin or a post-viral inflammatory response. They usually occur in this age group. There is a history of preceding URTI. It tends to be self-limiting. So, ang treatment ay symptom-based. Okay? Together with short-term thyroid hormone replacement kung meron siyang hypothyroid symptoms. Thyroidectomy is reserved for failure of medical management. Okay? Painless types and autoimmune in origin occurs sporadically or postpartum. Treatment, short-term thyroid hormone replacement. Okay. The most common inflammatory disorder of the thyroid is chronic thyroiditis, otherwise known as Hashimoto's thyroiditis or lymphocytic thyroiditis. It is also an autoimmune disorder where CD-positive T cells and antibodies are detected directed against the following antigens, no? Thyroglobulin, thyroid peroxidase, and the TSH receptor. Like Graves, meron din siyang mga common haplotypes, no? HLA-B8, DR3, DR5. There is diffuse infiltration by small lymphocytes and plasma cells. So, yan ang picture ng FNA, okay, ng thyroid gland na merong Hashimoto's. Diffuse infiltration by small lymphocytes and plasma cells. And sometimes that makes it difficult to differentiate versus thyroid lymphoma. Because in a thyroid lymphoma, if you perform an FNA, ito rin ang ibibigay na sa yung cytologic picture. Okay? So, paano mo madi-differentiate kung Hashimoto's or lymphoma? Ibig sabihin, kukuha ka ng mas malaking tissue. Hindi pwede ang FNA to differentiate the two. Okay? They are more common among women again. They present with minimally or moderately painless, diffusely enlarged thyroid gland. 20% will have a concomitant hypothyroidism. Actually, all of them, no, in the end of the disease process will be hypothyroid. But in the beginning, okay, they will be hyperthyroid, no, the so-called hashitoxicosis. Kasi pagka dinidestruct mo yung thyroid gland, nagre-release ng thyroid hormones yun eh. Okay? So, kung nagpa-laboratory ka at the hypothyroid state, you expect an elevated TSH already. Thyroid autoantibodies, again, those three antigens we cited a while ago, no? TSH receptor, thyroglobulin, and thyroid peroxidase. For those with nodules, an FNA biopsy must be done. Okay? So, anong treatment? Thyroid hormone replacement and then surgery only when cancer is suspected or for symptoms. Okay. Next is Rydell's thyroiditis or invasive, okay, fibrous thyroiditis or Riddle's stroma. No? By the way, no, I forgot to mention the other name for subacute kasi minsan lumalabas din yun eh. Subacute thyroiditis is sometimes called de Quervain's thyroiditis. Okay, so puntahan natin si Riddle's or Riddle's. Okay, it is associated with autoimmune diseases and other focal sclerosing syndromes, manifestation of IgG4 related systemic disease. There is a painless, hard anterior neck mass. That is the key PE finding, no, in Riddle's, that progresses to compressive symptoms in weeks. Okay? There is a hard woody thyroid gland such that an FNA will be impossible to perform. No? You need an open thyroid biopsy to gather enough tissue. Okay? Ang treatment ay wedge excision of the thyroid isthmus. Kasi yung isthmus, it compresses the trachea. Okay? So one performs an isthmusectomy and then give the patient thyroid hormone replacement in the form of L-thyroxine. And then sometimes also steroids, tamoxifen, rituximab, mycophenolate, mofetil. Okay, so yun yung mga other options. Okay, so in summary, ito yung gusto kong tandaan nyo, no? Pag inflammatory thyroid disorder, no, yung itis, management, is non-surgical. Yon ang general principle. No? Do not answer thyroidectomy for acute, subacute, chronic, and Riddle's. Okay? Last option yun. No? Kailan lang ginagawa ang surgery sa thyroiditis? Pagka merong 1, failure of medical management, 2, suspicion of malignancy, 3, may compressive symptoms. Kung wala nang yun, itis ito, no? Inflammatory disorder ito. Okay? Ang general treatment ay short-term thyroid hormone replacement lang. No? Ibig sabihin, pag nawala yung inflammation, babalik naman sa normal, no? Yung function ng thyroid gland. Even for Hashimoto's, no? Hindi ka nagta-thyroidectomy doon. No? Common mistake yun eh. Kahit malaki pa yung Hashimoto's, basta't walang compression ng airway o kaya ng esophagus, hindi mo siya dapat tanggalin. Okay? Kasi inflammatory lang yan, no? Hindi naman yan malignant lesion na pwedeng mag-spread, mag-metastasize. Okay? Let's go to solitary thyroid nodule workup. Take note of the time of onset, the change in size, associated symptoms, the risk factors for malignancy for the thyroid. Dalawa lang yan, ano? Yung commonly accepted risk factors. Exposure to low-dose ionizing radiation and a family history. For performing a PE, the clinician best position him or herself behind, no, the patient. And then take note of the following, no? Clinical malignant features. Nodules that are hard, gritty, fixed are more likely malignant. Diagnostic investigation, no? The single most important test is an FNA. But take note, this shouldn't be the first or the initial test. Okay, ang initial test ay TSH with ultrasound. Okay, yun ang best combination ng initial test. TSH with ultrasound. Kung walang ganong option, serum TSH should be the answer. Okay? And then tsaka pa lang tong fine needle aspiration. Kahit siya pa ang single most important. Okay? So 23 gauge needle, okay? Tapos it can be done with or without ultrasound guidance, depende sa size or palpability ng lesion. Ang baba, no, ng false positive at saka ng false negative result niya. Kaya yan ang gold standard. Okay? Optimum cytology. Para yung pinadala mong specimen, hindi ibabalik sa'yo ng pathologist. Okay? Dapat makita ng pathologist ito, no? At a minimum. At least 6 follicles each, containing at least 10 to 15 cells from at least 2 aspirates. Okay? Fine needle aspiration biopsy, take note, will not be able to diagnose follicular and Hürthle cell carcinoma and is less reliable in patients with history of radiation or family history of thyroid cancer. So, hindi siya capable of diagnosing follicular and Hürthle cell kasi may requirements dito eh. May dalawang requirements, no, for follicular and Hürthle cell. Ano yun? Vascular at saka capsular invasion. Okay? Na hindi kayang ipakita ng cytologic exam. Okay? So remember that, no? Follicular and Hürtel cell will not be able to be diagnosed directly via an FNA. So ano yung algorithm? Okay? Please memorize this algorithm kasi minsan kino-convert nila into a clinical scenario, tas tatanungin ka ng what will you do next? What will you do next? What will you do next? No, in a cascading type of a question. Okay? So when a patient arrives with a solitary thyroid nodule, like I said, okay, ang first or initial test is a TSH. But if there is a combination of TSH and ultrasound, thyroid ultrasound, yun ang better answer. Okay? So once you have a TSH, you will be able to subdivide these patients with the nodule as to either thyrotoxic, euthyroid, dapat nga may isa pa hypothyroid. Okay? Kasi ang TSH is pwedeng normal in a euthyroid, suppressed in a patient with thyrotoxicosis, or elevated in a hypothyroid. Okay. If the TSH is depressed or suppressed, the next diagnostic step to request is an iodine imaging or thyroid scan. Kasi kay thyroid scan, kita mo yung distribution ng isotope. Diffuse, si Graves yun. Solitary, di si solitary toxic nodule. Kung diffuse, think of Plumbers. Kung may cold nodule, kasi may 20% chance of malignancy yun, ine-FNA yun. Parang si euthyroid. Okay, bakit si euthyroid? Kasi karamihan ng merong malignancy sa thyroid nodule ay euthyroid. Okay? Kaya dapat sila dumaan sa fine needle aspiration. So that is the reason why dapat nauuna ang TSH. Bakit? Para yung may thyrotoxicosis, hindi mo na ma-fine needle aspiration. Bakit nga? Kasi less than 5% lang ang chance ng malignancy sa thyrotoxic group. Okay? Pero na lang kung may cold lesion siya or cold nodule. Okay? Yung si hypothyroid, okay? Ang next question mo doon, may compressive symptoms ba o wala? Kasi kung may compressive symptoms, surgery na kasunod noon. Kung no compressive symptoms, observe and LT4 replacement lang ang gagawin mo. No, bibigyan mo lang siya ng thyroxine. Okay? Para yung hypothyroidism niya makorek. Okay? Hindi ino-operahan yun kung wala namang compressive manifestation like dysphagia, dyspnea. Okay? Puntahan natin yung yung down the line ng algorithm. Pagkatapos ng fine needle aspiration biopsy, merong 6 possible diagnosis. Okay, ang tawag natin dyan Bethesda classification, no? We have Bethesda 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, pag sinabing Bethesda 1 or non-diagnostic, the next thing to do is to repeat the biopsy, this time with ultrasound guidance. No, kasi baka kaya non-diagnostic, hindi mo lang tinamaan yung lesion. Okay? Ito yung bumabalik na cytologic report na sasabihin ng pathologist. Cytomorphologic features consistent with red blood cell, no? So wala kang tinamaan kung hindi blood lang yung sinubmit mo. So uulit ka with an ultrasound. O kaya dito sa benign, okay? Dalawa yung potential etiology, no? Cyst, fluid containing, o solid, colloid nodule. Kung cyst, you are allowed to aspirate, okay? Up to 3 attempts. Pag nagre-reaccumulate, surgery ang kasunod nun. Okay? Pag hindi na umulit, tapos ka na sa aspiration. Yung colloid nodule, ino-observe lang yan. No? Ito, common ito. No? Yung colloid adenoma. Ang tinitignan dyan, size. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, follow-up ultrasound yan. No? If the size remains to be less than 3 centimeters, binibigyan lang ng LT4 yung pasyente. Pero pag more than 3 centimeters, likelihood of reversal is very small, no? So yun, pwede mo na siyang i-subject or offeran ng surgery. Okay? Puntahan natin yung atypia with undetermined significance or follicular lesion with an undetermined significance. Okay? Hindi ka mag-i-stop dyan. Kailangan mag-repeat ka ng FNA. Okay? So, dapat mabigyan ka niya ng clear diagnosis whether benign ba yan or suspicious, follicular neoplasm, or malignant. Okay? follicular neoplasm or suspicious for follicular neoplasm, the advice is a lobectomy. Surgery na, no? Hindi ka na magre-repeat ng FNA dyan. Kasi the higher the Bethesda, the higher the risk of malignancy. Suspicious for malignancy, same thing, no? Lobectomy or even a near total / total thyroidectomy. There are 2 diagnoses belonging to this group. Okay, sa Bethesda 5. Sino yan? Si follicular at saka si Hürthle cell neoplasm. Take note ha, sinabi ko neoplasm kasi hindi mo alam kung yung neoplasm na yun, follicular and Hürthle cell, ay adenoma benign or carcinoma malignant. Okay, ba't hindi mo alam? Kasi FNA lang to. Okay, sabi natin kanina, si FNA, hindi niya kayang i-diagnose outright yung follicular at saka Hürthle cell carcinoma. Kasi hindi kita ng FNA yung vascular at saka capsular invasion. Okay? That's the reason, isasubject mo na yung patient mo to surgery. Kasi yung lobectomy na yan o yung thyroid gland na maaalis mo ang magko-confirm, okay, kung yung suspicious lesion na ito o itong neoplasm na ito follicular or Hürthle cell adenoma or carcinoma. Okay? And then of course, yung last is yung outright malignant. Okay? Wala nang question dun, no? Pagka malignant ang diagnosis, di total / near total ang recommendation. Okay? Example is papillary carcinoma. Okay? So ito yung algorithm representation, ito yung tabular format, no? You will see na as the Bethesda class goes high, so does the risk of malignancy. Plus, you have here the management recommendation. Okay? So, we've discussed what ultrasound is. No? May mga tinitignan din kasi sa ultrasound, no, na features ng malignancy. Yung nodule, pag hypoechogenic, pag sinabing hypo, maitim. Okay? May microcalcification, may mga white dots, no, kasi pwedeng samoma bodies yon. May irregular borders or blaring of the margins. Okay? May taller than wide, okay, solid with marked stiffness, okay, and of course, no, meron ng evidence ng invasion sa node, sa lymph node, lahat yun suggestive of malignancy. Okay, may complex echo pattern, okay, irregular diffuse intranodular blood flow, at saka yung lymph node na sinasabing more round than long because of the loss of the fatty hilum. Okay, so yung Solviati index equivalent to 1 is also suggestive of malignancy. Okay? So, thyroid function test, most of them will be euthyroid. Serum TSH is the first test. Sa euthyroid hypothyroid group, FNA ang next step. Pero kung hyperthyroid, RAI scan. Okay? So, ito na yung summary ng algorithm kanina, no? Plus, anong gagawin? Okay? Diniscuss natin. Okay? So, let's go to the thyroid malignancies. Ito yung classification nila, no? Kung follicular ang etiology, pwedeng differentiated, poorly differentiated, and then undifferentiated. Kung parafollicular or C-cell ang etiology, we have medullary carcinoma. Belonging to the differentiated, dalawa lang yan, no? Papillary and follicular. Okay? So, ito yung mga must know pagdating sa different thyroid carcinoma, no? Si papillary carcinoma nadadiagnose, ito yung kanyang pathognomonic findings, no? Orphan nuclei, samoma bodies, okay? They are usually multifocal, okay? Take note, this is the most common of all types of thyroid cancer, again more common among women. Usually there's a history of prior radiation, okay? Tends to metastasize to the lymph nodes before going systemic. It has the best prognosis among all, no? More than 95% of patients still alive after 10 years. Take note, no? It's not 100% in 10 years. So as a doctor, as a clinician, dyan dapat ang focus natin. No? To identify sino yung less than 5% na yan na hindi aabot ng 10 years. Okay? Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na high risk, low risk features. Pag yung pasyente meron ng high risk features, baka nandun siya sa 5% na yun, no? Na hindi makaka-experience ng survival at the end of 10 years. Okay? Now, management, no? As a general rule, basta't malignant, total / near total yan. Okay? Now, take note ha, most common, best prognosis, lymphatic spread. Yan si papillary. Si follicular, ito yung second most common, doesn't go to the nodes. Okay? Ang spread nito is hematogenous. Diagnosis requires capsular at saka vascular invasion. At saka ang kanyang survival mas less ng konti, no? 85% survival in 10 years. Ibig sabihin may 15% na mamamatay, no? At the end or before the end of the 10th year. Okay? Hurtele cell, mas mababa pa ulit, no? Ang survival nito. 80% in 10 years or 20% mortality. Okay? So, management niya similar kay follicular cancer, no? Plus a routine central neck node dissection. So, bakit merong routine central neck node dissection kay Hurtele cell? Kasi si Hurtele cell, meron siyang property ni papillary at saka ni follicular, no? Nagme-metastasize na siya sa node, prone din siya sa vascular spread or hematogenous spread. And then we have medullary carcinoma. Okay? Yung medullary galing sa parafollicular or C cells. Okay? More than half are bilateral. No? Paano nakikilala yan? No? It produces a marker we call calcitonin. It can be a component of multiple endocrine neoplasia type 2A or 2B. Okay? Total thyroidectomy with bilateral central neck node dissection is also required because of its propensity for lymph node spread. And then yung merong worst survival, no, si anaplastic. Paano nakikilala yan? If the FNA reveals giant and multinucleated cells. Okay? Tapos, ayan, no, might have developed from a follicular or papillary. So even well-differentiated malignancies can de-differentiate, no? Pwede silang maging undifferentiated later on. Okay, this is a highly aggressive tumor. Lymph node metastasis usually present and metastasis may be evident at the time of diagnosis. Hence, management is mostly palliative. Okay? When we go to thyroid lymphoma, we'll see that most are non-Hodgkin's B-cell type. And they are usually coming from a Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Symptoms are similar to anaplastic carcinoma, although often painless. Okay, so sabi dito, no, ang diagnosis niya, dapat via core or open biopsy. Kasi hindi mo siya madi-differentiate sa Hashimoto's kung nag-FNA ka lang. Okay, so lymphoma nowadays no longer is surgical unless merong tumor-related complication like compression. Okay, so kung lymphoma lang per se, no, wala namang sinabing dysphagia, dyspnea. Okay, ito ang current regimen of choice, no, yung combination ng rituximab, cyclophosphamide, doxorubicin, and vincristine, and prednisone or R-CHOP. Okay, for metastatic carcinoma to the thyroid, this is a rare event. Okay, the most common malignancy that goes to the thyroid is a kidney carcinoma, renal cell carcinoma. Diagnosis is via history P and FNA. Okay, the treatment is of course directed to the underlying primary, which is the renal cell cancer. And then lobectomy may be needed or metastasectomy to relieve possible compression, no, of the airway. Okay, for complications of thyroid surgery. Okay, so ito common, no, massive bleeding. What else? Recurrent laryngeal nerve injury and airway compromise. We've discussed that. Okay. The most common of all is an episode of transient hypocalcemia. Okay, and that is due to injury to the blood supply of the parathyroids. Pag ang hypocalcemia permanent, ibig sabihin nun, yung buong parathyroids ang na-injure mo or naalis mo inadvertently. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, ang hypocalcemia, may dalawang variants, transient at saka permanent. Transient hypocalcemia is overall the most common complication of thyroid surgery. And again, that is a result of inadvertent injury or trauma to the blood supply of the parathyroid glands, which is the inferior thyroid artery. wag namang permanent hypocalcemia. Ibig sabihin nun, yung 4 na parathyroid glands, lahat na alis mo, no, together with the thyroid gland. And then injury to nearby structures like trachea, esophagus, etc. Okay. If there is bleeding, no, paano magmamanifest yan? Nagde-desaturate yung pasyente, may bull neck deformity, okay? So if a hematoma develops, it should be evacuated in the operating room. So ibig sabihin, return to the operating room. The patient's neck should be cleansed with antiseptics, the incision open, and blood from the hematoma evacuated. Take note, all prior to intubation. Ibig sabihin, i-intubate mo pa din siya. You will secure the airway, but you need to evacuate the hematoma first. Okay? So, yun ang kailangan gawin dito, no? Hindi lang basta i-observe mo, lalagyan mo ng ice pack yung leeg. Okay? So, early acceptance na merong post-operative bleeding, it will require immediate evacuation of the hematoma and then re-intubation. Okay? So, do not forget that, no? And then, yung most common complication, which is transient hypocalcemia. Okay, let's go to the parathyroids. Normally, we have 4. Okay, we have superior pair at saka inferior pair coming from the 4th and the 3rd bronchial pouches respectively. The superior parathyroids are more consistent in position, located in the posterior aspect, upper and middle thyroid lobes at the level of the cricoid. Okay, so remember the cricoid for the superior parathyroids, while the inferior parathyroids are usually located near the recurrent laryngeal nerve, okay, where it is crossed by the inferior thyroid artery at a 1 cm radius. Okay, so normally we have 4 glands. The superior pair is posterior to the recurrence, while the inferior pair is anterior or ventral to it. Each gland normally weighs 40 to 50 milligrams, and their blood supply all comes from the inferior thyroid artery. Okay? Because of their common embryologic origin, okay, sa mga individuals na merong supernumerary glands, usually nandoon nakikita yung extra parathyroid, no, sa thymus. Okay? Or doon naman sa may ectopic parathyroids, ibig sabihin 4 in number pero abnormal in location, dito sila nakikita, no, sa paraesophageal area. Okay? So bakit natin dinidefine, no? Dinidescribe yung mga areas where to look for supernumerary or ectopic parathyroids? Kasi nga, in times of pathology, we require surgery, no, for treatment. So kailangan alam mo saan mo hahanapin yung mga parathyroids. Okay, so ang first disorder is primary hyperparathyroidism or PHPT, wherein it results to increase parathyroid hormone production with resultant increase in the level of calcium. Okay, so yun ang problem, no? Ang laboratory abnormality sa PHPT ay tandem of increased PTH at saka increased calcium. Kasi alam naman natin, ano, ang action ng PTH, okay, sa tatlong end organ, pataasin ang calcium. Diba? Saan ba ang end organs ng PTH? Sa intestine, sa kidney, at saka sa bone. Lahat yon magtatrabaho para itaas ang level ng calcium sa blood. Okay? By etiology, this is the most common culprit, no? A parathyroid adenoma, which by definition is a solitary nodule or problem. Isa lang, no? Isa lang sa 4 na parathyroid glands ang may problem or pathology. The moment maging dalawa yan, ang assumption dun parathyroid hyperplasia na yon. Okay? The second most common cause of PHPT. And then ang list parathyroid carcinoma. Okay? So ang clinical manifestation, no, yung classic pentad, no? Lahat ito can be defined by an increased calcium. Okay? By physical findings, it is seldom palpable, no? Nowadays, most are asymptomatic and incidentally diagnosed. No, nagpa-serum chemistries ka, tas nakita mo may hypercalcemia. Okay, bihira na yung nagpe-present ng may kidney stones, painful bones, abdominal groans, psychic moans, fatigue overtones. Okay? So yung tandem, no, ng lab abnormality, ulit-ulit natin, ano, increased calcium, increased PTH, PHPT. For symptomatic patients, no question, no, this patient will require parathyroidectomy. While for those asymptomatic, okay, they have to satisfy the following indications for them to be offered a parathyroidectomy. Now, since there are 4 parathyroid glands, okay, ideally, the patient prior to surgery must be subjected to a sestamibi scan or a pre-op localization test so that the surgeon knows which of the 4 parathyroid glands is pathologic. Okay? Bakit importante yon? Kasi ang treatment ay iba-iba. Okay? The extent is different, no? For a solitary pathology or single adenoma, resection of that gland must be done. So, dapat alam mo pre-op sino sa 4 na parathyroids yung adenomatous. Paano mo malalaman yun kung hindi naman nakakapa? A sestamibi scan will tell you. Okay? Now, if you do not have a sestamibi scan, you have a little problem. Ano yun? You have to identify all 4 glands. Okay? Intraoperatively, meaning you need to perform a comprehensive neck dissection, look for all 4 glands, and identify which of the 4 is the one pathologic. Okay? The moment you find 2 abnormal looking glands, hindi na adenoma yun. Hyperplasia na yun. No? And look at the extent of surgery. It's different. Okay? Kasi sa adenoma, you will perform single gland parathyroidectomy. Pero pag hyperplasia, 3.5 parathyroidectomy or total parathyroidectomy with autotransplantation ang surgical extent. Pag carcinoma, it requires an en bloc resection together with the ipsilateral thyroid lobe. Okay? So this is the beauty of a sestamibi, no? Even pre-op, it's the inferior left parathyroid gland that is adenomatous. Hence, during the surgery, you only need to put a very small incision tailored or just above this pathologic gland. And there is no need to explore the whole neck to identify the remaining 3. Kasi alam mo na sa sestamibi, dito nagkaroon ng concentration and uptake. Okay? So kung wala kang sestamibi scan, you have to identify all 4 glands. Kasi nga, the moment you find 2 abnormal looking glands, ang assumption hyperplasia na yon, hindi na pwedeng mag-single gland parathyroidectomy doon. No? Ang treatment mo na doon, 3.5 or 3.5 parathyroidectomy plus or total parathyroidectomy with autotransplantation. Ayan, aalisin mo yung 4 na glands, okay, i-mince mo siya, slice mo into smaller pieces, at i-autotransplant mo sa forearm, no, sa brachioradialis muscle. Bakit sa forearm? Kasi para pag mag-recur siya, hindi mo i-redissect yung neck. Ang i-re-explore mo yung forearm. Okay? So, na-protect mo yung recurrent laryngeal nerves sa neck. Okay? So, yun yung reason bakit sa forearm usually siya ini-auto-transplant. Okay? At saka mapapansin mo, walang total parathyroidectomy alone. 'Di ba? Yung equivalent niya ay 3.5. Ibig sabihin, mag-iiwan ka pa rin ng half. Dito naman sa total, dapat mag-auto-transplant ka. Bakit kailangan laging may maiiwang parathyroid gland? Kasi hindi to gaya ng thyroid gland na may replacement, no? LT4. Si PTH walang replacement. Kaya kailangan mo mag-iwan ng parathyroid tissue. Okay? Yung hypercalcemic crisis, no? It usually presents with nausea, vomiting, fatigue, muscle weakness, confusion, and decreased level of consciousness. Okay? It usually caused by parathyroid carcinoma or familial hyperparathyroidism cases. Ito ang tinatanong dyan, no? Ano ba ang treatment ng pasyenteng may hypercalcemic crisis, no? So ang mainstay dyan, 0.9% saline hydration or plain normal saline hydration. The rest are just adjuncts, no? Yung diuresis, IV mitramycin, okay, biphosphonates, calcitonin, and steroids. And surgery is continued only when the patient is already eucalcemic. Let's go to secondary hyperparathyroidism. Now, this occurs among patients with chronic renal failure. Okay? So, kaya siya tinawag na secondary, no? Ang problema talaga ng pasyente ay CRF. Sa CRF kasi, merong hypocalcemia, no? Bumababa yung calcium. And nade-detect, no, ng parathyroid gland yung state na yon. So, secondarily, it reacted to that. No? So parang normal response ng parathyroid yun eh. 'Di ba? So kung mababa ang calcium, magpo-produce siya ng PTH to bring it back to normal levels. Okay. Kanya lang anong naging problema, no? So ang treatment nito dapat directed sa underlying disorder, no, yung CRF. Together with the giving of phosphate binding antacids, oral calcium and vitamin D. Okay. So pag ito pinalaboratory mo, ang tandem ng abnormality mo dapat increased PTH pero decreased calcium, no? Unlike yung primary kanina na both increased. Okay? So, surgery for uncontrolled symptoms, you will notice, teka, bakit parehas ito ng hyperplasia, no? 3.5 parathyroidectomy or total parathyroidectomy for autotransplantation. Simply because, ganun nga, no? Yung parathyroid glands nag-react in response to a low calcium. And of course, hindi lang isa ang magre-react, no? Yung 4 na parathyroid glands lahat mag-hyperfunction. Kaya para siyang hyperplasia, no, in terms of management. 3.5 or total with autotransplantation. Okay? And then we have tertiary hyperparathyroidism, no? In this condition, the CRF has been treated already with transplantation. Okay? Kanya lang for some reasons, no, the parathyroid gland has escape regulation, no? Hindi na siya nagre-respond, no, sa levels ng calcium. Basta't produce pa rin siya ng increased PTH. Okay, so there is persistent hyperparathyroidism and hypercalcemia following successful renal transplant or resolution of the underlying disorder. And this is due to irreversible parathyroid gland hyperplasia with autonomous PTH production. Okay, so naging autonomous na siya, no? No longer responding to the levels of calcium as its trigger, no? Whether to secrete or produce more PTH. So hyperplastic siya. So ang surgery niya kagaya ng parathyroid hyperplasia. 3.5 or total parathyroidectomy with autotransplantation. So sino lang ang naiba pagdating sa surgical extent? Yung most common pathology which is a solitary adenoma. Kasi doon kailangan mo lang single gland parathyroidectomy. Okay? Kaya importante yung sestamibi, no? Para ang dissection mo focused sa isang gland lang. Kasi kung wala kang sestamibi scan, compelled ka, no, na i-explore yung buong neck. Kailangan makita mo yung 4 na glands. Kasi the moment dalawa na yung abnormal looking glands, ganito na yung magiging extent ng surgery. 3.5 or total with autotransplantation. Yun din yung reason ba't kailangan alam mo nasaan hanapin ang supernumerary parathyroids like sa thymus o yung ectopic na nasa paraesophageal area. Okay? A 22-year-old student is scheduled to undergo parathyroidectomy for hyperparathyroidism associated with familial multiglandular syndrome. His sister developed peptic ulcer disease secondary to Zollinger-Ellison tumor or gastrinoma of the pancreas. So, ang pasyente dito may multiple endocrine neoplasia. On PE, a swelling was noted over the posterior aspect of the patient's fifth rib. What is the most likely finding? Is that a metastasis, osteitis fibrosa cystica, the so-called brown tumor, and subperiosteal resorption of the phalanges? C. Dermoid cyst, D. eosinophilic granuloma, or E. chondroma. So, hindi naman siya compatible sa lahat, no? Ang pagpipilian mo lang dyan is either A or B. Okay? At ang sagot dyan, na best answer would be letter B. Osteitis fibrosa cystica, brown tumor, and subperiosteal resorption of the phalanges.